Hello, Yellow Jackets. Happy signing day. Andy DeMatra, head coach Jeff Collins, and your first full year of recruiting now concludes with this gold-blooded class of 2020. I know you're excited about all the young men who will be coming to the Flats, but we'd be remiss if we didn't begin by acknowledging the one who won't. And unfortunately, that's Bryce Gowdy. Will always be part of this signing class. He and his family will always be part of the Georgia Tech family, a young man who tragically passed away. On signing day, we always talk about the potential of these young men as players, but can you give us some more insight into Bryce Gowdy, the young man that you got to know over the course of recruiting him?
Yeah, well, I mean, the first thing that jumps out is obviously he's a great player, was one of the top wide receivers in the country, but then you get to know him and you get to find out his personality and his character and who he was and his goals and dreams and ambitions. And, he saw a future for himself here. He really loved our culture, what we're building here, saw something special, and wanted to be a part of it. And the fact of the matter is he'll be a part of it forever. Special young man. We talk about him, we think about him all the time. And obviously he's going to be greatly missed because, he's such a great person and, great player and all those things.
And we continue to keep Bryce Gowdy and his family in our thoughts. So 3 signees here in the February period to join the 22 that signed for you in December. 25 total in the class of 2020. How did your program get better with this class?
Well, actually, so the day started, so let's talk about the fun stuff. We started at 5:30 this morning over at Mercedes-Benz Stadium with our 5-star developmental workout, and it was really good to be back with the team. And there's a lot of programs in the country that all they're worried about is signing players and accumulating talent and all those things. But we're a developmental program, so anytime that we can take the chance to work with our guys, get our guys to be better, we relish that, and just the significance of getting up early before all the emails and faxes and texts and DocuSigns come in and get to work with our guys. That's the part that really matters. Obviously, we're excited about the 3 that added to the family today, and the recruiting class I think is one of the top 2 recruiting classes in Georgia Tech football history. And we're excited to continue that tradition with the next signing class we've already started on that as well.
Yeah, the ink is barely dried in the class of 2020. You're already working on 2021. But let's talk about this class of 2020, and a huge exclamation point was delivered today with the signing of Jahmyr Gibbs. 24/7 Sports says he is the 5th best recruit ever to come to Georgia Tech since they started tracking it. There were a lot of high-powered programs that thought they could get in and work their way into the mix with Jahmyr Gibbs, but it speaks to the strength of your staff and their relationship building that when he committed, he held firm to that, and now he's coming to the Flats.
So I think it speaks to the evaluation piece. Patrick Suddas and his outstanding staff do a great job preloading us with some of the best high school talent in America. And then Tashard Choice zeroing in very early that Jahmyr Gibbs was his number 1 running back, our number 1 running back for this class. We got in on him early. We built relationships early. We knew what special player we had, and we're able to continue that relationships. And even though when the outside world started figuring out that he's one of the best running backs in the country, we were so far ahead and had such great relationships. And it goes back to the evaluation process that our recruiting staff and Tashard Choice implemented. And now we get to bring him here to this great institution, powerhouse program of Georgia Tech. And developing with Luke Corral and the strength staff, it's going to be an exciting time with him.
Last year, your heralded running back signee was Jemias Griffin. Of course, you still have Jordan Mason, and now you have Jahmyr Gibbs. That is going to be a loaded backfield for years to come at Georgia Tech. With this recruiting class, now that you have a full season of tape that you can show recruits and sell them on the product on the field, how much did that help in convincing these young men and women that Georgia Tech was the right fit for them?
Well, I think the biggest thing is it's the culture. The schemes and the SSOs and the exciting things that we do both offensively and defensively, they have a wow factor, and they can see the pieces that we're putting into place and the success we've had everywhere that we've been. But it's the cultural piece that they bought into. Who we are as coaches, who this organization is, what the locker room is all about. That is the biggest thing that resonated with them and made them choose to come here. The energy of our coaching staff, the positivity, how demanding we are, the accomplished coaches that we have on our staff. We had 8 guys that came here in January enrolled. They've started working out with the team. one of my first weeks back, I asked David Curry and Chris Martin, two of our senior leaders, how are the 8 new guys transitioning into the culture? And the biggest compliment that I heard was that they are the culture. They came here because of what we talk about. They came here because of our presence on social media, and that we show the realities of what our locker room, what our coaches are actually like, and they chose to come here because of that. So they already live and breathe and act like the culture walking in the door. And I think that's a special thing about why we're going to be so good moving forward, is we have those pieces and they're talented athletes, but they came here for the work ethic and the energy, the positivity, and the relentless desire to be a great college football program and the great college football players.
You continue to beef up the offensive line. 2 grad transfer O-linemen in this class.
Sure.
Devin Cochran signed today. Now, seeing the success of your grad transfers last year,
Right.
Tyler Davis and Jared Southers,
Sure.
how much did that help in the recruitment of Ryan Johnson, Devin Cochran, 2 SEC offensive linemen ready to come and make an impact at Tech?
Yeah, absolutely. I think just they're hearing the stories. I think one of the biggest compliments that you can have is when somebody's former teammate comes to this place, comes into our locker room, comes into our culture, and then sells it from a personal experience. These guys are exactly what they say they are. You're going to come here. This culture is unbelievable. These coaches are the real deal. That's real. And it resonates with those guys. I mean, we're going to have 3. I was in the SEC for 7 years. We're going to have 3 SEC offensive linemen playing for us next year. And they come because of what we're doing schematically, the unbelievable coaching that we get, obviously, with Brent Key being our O-line coach, and coming here and developing all those things. And you just look at Georgia Tech and Atlanta being a destination spot, transfers from Florida, Michigan, Notre Dame, Miami, et cetera, coming back to want to be a part of what we've got going on, so it's pretty cool.
7 4-stars in this 2020 signing class.
Sure.
You'd said this is going to be, when the dust settles, one of the highest regarded signing classes ever at Georgia Tech.
Right.
What statement do you think this signing class sends, not only to Georgia Tech fans,
Sure.
but to the rest of college football?
Well, I think the expectation should be to be in those conversations. The expectation should be, when you see the hats that are laid out on the different tables in high school gymnasiums across the country, Georgia Tech logo should be amongst the best of the best. And what we have to sell here with being a top 5 academic institution, being here in the heart of Atlanta with unbelievable group of men that they're going to get to play with, and the character and the positivity of the coaches that they're going to get here. I mean, I think it speaks volumes for what we're building and what we're doing, and hopefully this just resonates and carries it on even further in the next signing class and the one after that and the one after that. We don't just collect talent. We are building a program, and I think that just, echoes with this signing class.
You said you guys are practicing at Mercedes-Benz Stadium earlier today.
Sure.
A taste of what's to come. Mayhem at Mercedes-Benz, Georgia Tech versus Notre Dame next November. From the team that you saw on that practice field today compared to where this program was a year ago,
Yeah.
How would you describe the transformation that you're already seeing?
It's night and day. I mean, just it's no secret that we inherited one of the smallest sized rosters in America last year. And the work that our coaching staff has done through recruiting and the work our strength staff has done through development is absolutely amazing. But the best part of it is the mindset, the culture, the way they carry themselves, the way they attack the workouts, they attack the drills. That resonates with you. And I left this morning to come back here to finish off the recruiting class. Really excited about the work that our guys have done. Just the mindset and the attitude and all those things is really good.
When you see a young man, whether it was a Jahmyr Gibbs today or a Jeff Sims back in December, pull out that hat and it sees that GT logo on it, it never gets old, does it?
No doubt, no doubt. It's special. We're building something that's going to be really, really good for a long time. And the higher caliber players, it speaks to the next group of signing class. So you get Jeff Sims, Tucker Gleason at quarterback. You can recruit to that for a couple of years moving forward, and then having the USA Today Player of the Year and Jemias Griffin signed with us last year, and then one of the top 3 tailbacks in America, Jahmyr Gibbs, coming this year. Those kind of things, because great players want to play with other great players. Then they come around our locker room, they meet our guys, and they're great guys that want to work hard, want to get a great education, and do the right things on and off the field. I mean, that's really cool.
So the gold-blooded class of 2020 is in the books, but the process of preparing for the 2020 season is already underway. Let's talk about spring practice.
Sure.
You announced the practice schedule. First practice March 3rd,
Yep.
Spring game Friday night under the lights at Bobby Dodd Stadium, April 10th. It's coming right around the corner.
Exciting times. We're fired up. Hopefully we can get Bobby Dodd packed and for the spring game, and it'll be a good time.
It was a scene last year. We look forward to seeing you at Bobby Dodd Stadium again, April 10th, Friday night, Georgia Tech spring game, and that concludes your Georgia Tech signing class of 2020. Coach, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk with General Manager Pat Sudis in just a moment. Stay with us. And we're back with somebody who has been very hard at work in helping put together this class of 2020. He is General Manager Patrick Sudis. Take us back from the beginning. We had talked with Coach Collins. This is the first full year recruiting class that you guys have signed. How do you see sort of the momentum start to gather when the first couple of young men commit, how that starts to get the dominoes falling until you get here today and you have a signing class that's going to be ranked in the top 25?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, coming in at first, you're trying to finish the 2019 class, and so you're really behind on the 2020 class because we're recruiting 2-3 years out now. So just getting the full staff here in January and just getting it rolling, getting these guys on campus. The coaching staff did an unbelievable job of getting these guys on campus. And then, as you saw, once we got a couple guys rolling, especially those in-state kids, and we got one of our quarterbacks, that really got the momentum going into the summer, and then that carried on through the fall.
One of the phrases you hear often nowadays is roster management. With this 25-member class, how does it help you and Coach Collins and the rest of this staff better fulfill their vision of how they want this roster to be composed?
Yeah, there's no doubt. You know, we when we got here, just kind of looking at it, what our deficiencies and strengths were at certain positions, whether it's length or size or whatever. And I thought we did an unbelievable job hitting that as far as just getting bigger across the board, and then also adding skill guys as well. So that was the goal, and I think we did an unbelievable job at that, and now it's on to the next class.
Because you have done some data research on average height, average weight, all these measurables for elite programs. How much did that serve as a guidepost for you as you evaluated, identified prospects, and ultimately signed them?
Yeah, there's no doubt. We use, you know, I've always used, and Coach Collins has used this before, what the NFL measurements are at each position. Obviously, you're recruiting kids that are underdeveloped out of high school. They're recruiting, you know, they're signing, you know, college kids and drafting those guys. So you have to project usually weights and sometimes heights. Some kids could get here and gain 3 inches, but really what Coach talks about is we wanted length. And then the ability to look at a frame and say, you know, this kid could put on 20, 30, 40 pounds. And Coach Lou and his staff do an unbelievable job helping with that as well.
You said that when you and the rest of the staff got here, you were behind on the class of 2020. Well, it results in a class that will be regarded as among the top 25 best in the country. Now it's on to the class of 2021. And the evaluation process has already started, correct?
No doubt. We already got a ton of offers out. We've had these kids on campus multiple times, and so that's the biggest difference between last year and this year, and not just 21 but 22. And so we're well ahead of the curve. We got these guys on campus. We've got momentum. This class is just going to be the building block to a great future here and more great classes to come.
Yeah, strike while the iron is hot, correct?
That's right.
All right. Well, time to celebrate, certainly for this gold-blooded class of 2020, but for this man, the work is continuing. General Manager Patrick Sudis, look forward to talking to you and seeing what you have in store for the class of 2021.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.